Nowadays, science dominates, feng shui, fortune-telling, and wishing for medical treatment have become feudal superstitions, which are widely criticized online. Zhu Lan, as the last inheritor of Zhu You Shu, started live streaming and faced online slander. Other science anchors are all hydrogen, helium, lithium, beryllium, boron, and science around them. Only Zhu Lan held 3 yellow talismans, first a netizen who had been cured of his limp, then an uncle who had saved cancer, and even a tour group that exposed the evil aspects of feng shui and saved 52 people on the mountain roadNetizen. What is unscientific? Wishing Master is a contemporary divine operator. Official. Please keep a low profile, Master Zhu. Science can't explain it clearly anymore. Chapter 1. First Day Live Broadcast. You are listening at Novel Full.Audio. Jiangqing. In recent years, all the shops on Kanglan Ancient Street have caught up with the tourism trend in Jiangqing, and the owners of each shop have become wealthy and earned a lot of money. Only the shop at number 67 Kanglan Ancient Street is getting worse and worse among these shops, with no customers entering or leaving for more than 10 days. No matter how lively the surrounding shops are, store 67 is still open on time every day, regardless of the lack of business. The wooden sign hanging on store 67 only has 2 simple words. Wishing you all the best. Although the wooden plaque has been weathered by wind and rain, the word Zhu Yi has been passed down through the ages. Tourists who come and go, passing by the Zhu Yi small shop, only stretch their necks to take a distant look inside, and are persuaded by their companions around them. Those who wish for a doctor or not are all scammers. Let's go quickly, we can't believe these feudal superstitions. Zhu Lan leaned half against the back of the chair, wearing a blue wide-sleeved cloud gauze Taoist robe that looked very cool. She half squinted her eyes and glanced at the girl who had just been pulled away by her companions at the door, shaking her head. The girl's eyes turned red, and one of the 7 colors was weaker, which was the worst time for her luck. Zhu Lan's finger moved slightly and then nodded, saying, "Fortunately, I think it's because I've been eating unclean lately. After a few days, I'll be fine. It's a small matter, if it's not meant for me, then it's not meant for me." As she spoke, Zhu Lan glanced at her own cold and deserted medical clinic again and sighed, saying, "After Grandma left, there hasn't been any income from the clinic for a long time, has there? Since my grandmother passed away and Zhu Lan took over the Zhu Medical Clinic, the business of the clinic has been very bleak. Currently, Western medicine is flourishing and science is accessible. Whether it is fortune-telling or divination, they are classified by the public as feudal superstitions and unrealistic theories. This Shu Yi Guan has also been gradually abandoned by the public." Zhu Lan opened her phone and glanced at her balance, which was only 375.3 yuan, and sighed. This Shui clinic was left by Grandma. Although the clinic does not require rent, there has never been much business. If it continues for a long time, Zhu Lan may have to go hungry. Zhu Lan sighed and began playing with her phone. "If it's not just me, I'll just take the mountain. Since the clinic's business is sluggish, let's start a live broadcast online and see if we can make a living." Zhu Lan is an action-oriented person who registered for Douyin and started live streaming in less than 10 minutes. Her purpose is simple. Promote blessings, guide like-minded individuals, help patients with illnesses, earn good karma, and cultivate oneself. And most importantly, make some money. So Zhu Lan didn't hide anything and directly named his Douyin username, Zhu Lan. Unfortunately, after nearly 20 minutes of broadcasting, a total of 8 people entered and exited the live broadcast room. There were a few scattered comments in the barrage, mostly cursing. "Wishing you a doctor. Are you someone who practices witchcraft? What kind of doctor is this? The anchor is good at stealing traffic, really 6. Zhu You Shu. It's really fake. The anchor looks so young, a bit like a scammer." Zhu Lan looked at the barrage on her phone screen and was about to explain a few words, but in the end, everyone had left okay, there's no need to explain. Zhu Lan holds her cheeks with one hand, which is a bit boring. That's not right, she calculated very clearly. At this time, it's a busy time, so theoretically her live broadcast room shouldn't be so deserted. With such thoughts in mind, Zhu Lan decided to get up and go to Caidian to place 3 fragrant incense sticks. Suddenly, her live broadcast room received a connection, and thousands of people flooded into the room, causing her phone to lag a bit. Looking at the online invitation, Zhu Lan hesitated a bit. I was originally just thinking of giving people medical treatment and fortune telling in my own live broadcast room, but this sudden connection caught Zhu Lan off guard. After thinking for a moment, Zhu Lan finally took on this connection now. After all, she calculated very well that today is the peak time. Just as Zhu Lan confirmed the connection and the live broadcast connection was not fully connected, Zhu Lan's live broadcast room was already filled with curses. It's already this time, the anchor dares to run out and deceive under the name of Zhu Yi, it's really despicable. Chiga, come and crack down on counterfeits. We support you. The deception of Zhu You Shu is so despicable, it only deceives the elderly. Traditional Chinese medicine is inherently unscientific, and the Zhu Yu technique is even more unscientific. The 13 Zhu Yu disciplines are simply deceptive. Qi Gu is on the expedition, nothing grows. Wishing you a lie, it's unacceptable. Zhu Lan watched the constantly refreshing barrage in the live broadcast room and fell into silence. Zhu You Shu, how could it be a scam? I have heard about the treatment of diseases in ancient times, but the only way is to transfer essence and change qi, which can be a blessing. Zhu Lan was picked up by her grandmother when she was still a baby at 2 months old. Over the past 23 years, she has watched her grandmother save tens of thousands of people. It wasn't until my grandmother passed away that the Zhui clinic had no business in the past year. In the early years, no one in Jiangxing knew that Grandma Zhu from the Zhu clinic could cure any difficult or complicated illness with great skill. The way of wishing you that Zhu Lan learned is passed down from his grandmother. Grandma once said that although the art they practice is the art of wishing for blessings, they belong to the Zhu sect. Upon entering the Zhu gate, one must learn 2 things. One is to learn external skills and endure hard work. It is necessary to involve the principles of heaven, humanity, medicine, the 5 elements and 8 trigrams, feng shui and destiny, and the facial features of the 8 characters in order to trace the origin and explore the causes of the patient. Zhu Lan has been dedicated to learning in this area since she officially joined Zhu Men at the age of 2. The second is to practice internal skills in order to truly achieve blessings and eliminate illnesses and disasters. The internal skill cultivation of Zhu Men is the same as that of ancient cultivators. However, cultivators rely on the spiritual energy of heaven and earth to transform themselves and achieve immortality. And the cultivation of Zhu Men cultivates good karma. When they treat the public, they bring vitality to the public and also gain good karma from the medical community. Wishing all the members of the sect, it is through this kind cultivation that they can cultivate themselves and step into eternal life. Zhu Men has been passed down for tens of thousands of years. After Grandma's death, Zhu Lan became the 1206th generation leader of Zhu Men. She wished Lan Shi the most orthodox way of wishing medicine. How can the way of wishing medicine be a deception? Just as Zhu Lan frowned and was about to say something, the video finally connected successfully. Before the picture was completely clear, the other person had already started cursing at Zhu Lan. His attitude was very arrogant, and his tone was even more contemptuous of Zhu Lan's various looks. I, Zhengqi, hate you crooked cheats most in my life. Today, I bring you old irons to fight against counterfeits. Zheng Qi's words instantly caused the barrage in the live broadcast room to flash. Support Chiga, crack down on fake scammers. Support Chiga, crack down on fake scammers. Zhu Lan suddenly became speechless. Wow, on the first day of the live broadcast, he unexpectedly encountered someone who was fighting against counterfeits. Chapter 2. Encountering Counterfeit Anchor. You are listening at novelfull.audio. This translator is experiencing an error, please try another translator. Chapter 3. It's better to dance obediently. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Zheng Qi's mobile phone ringtone sounded exceptionally harsh in the live broadcast room where the arrow was drawn. Originally, Zheng Qi had no intention of answering the phone. After all, he was facing off against a god like Zhu Lan. Isn't answering the phone damaging his reputation? However, Zheng Qi glanced at the caller and found that it was his mother. The whole person's face suddenly changed. The family knows that he earns money through live streaming every day, so they usually don't make phone calls during his live streaming. So Zheng Qi's back suddenly became cold, and he looked up at the woman across from the video in confusion. Zhu Lan just said that there were still 5 minutes left, as if a spell was constantly hovering in his mind. The netizens in the live broadcast room also saw Zheng Qi's face suddenly turn bad and asked one after another. What's wrong with Qiga? If you have a call, answer it. It's okay. Sleeping slot, isn't the phone here to announce bad news? Is this woman so clever? What nonsense is that? Do you think it's possible? This woman is just a god. Qiga, please answer the phone first. Although netizens were still cursing Zhu Lan as a scammer, many people began to hesitate and urged Zheng Qi to answer the phone quickly. At this moment, Zheng Qi felt extremely anxious in his heart, but he still picked up his phone and comforted netizens, saying, "Don't worry, it's okay. That prodigy is nonsense. After I answer the phone, I, Zheng Qi, and all the old irons will smash the live broadcast room of the prodigy together." Zheng Qi's face was very calm, but his hand holding the phone was already trembling slightly. He desperately told himself, no, but when he finally connected the phone, a deafening cry came from the other end. Woo-woo. Cheer, come to the hospital quickly. Your grandfather has left. At that moment, Zheng Qi felt as if he had been struck by lightning. He looked up at the live streaming phone in confusion, his eyes fixed on the camera with wooden eyes, not saying a word. Waves of crying came from his phone, and Zheng Qi's eyes instantly turned red. And next, all the netizens could only see Zheng Qi's live broadcast room going black, one by one sighing. Sleeping slot, what's the situation? Is the script? Is it still true? The woman just said she had 5 minutes left to die, but then she died. I don't know, I just feel goosebumps all over my body now, I feel so scared. Don't call this woman, she calls herself Zhu Yi. Everyone should be careful when speaking, it's too cult. How do I think it's a script? It's too fake, it's impossible. Zheng Qi's crying over the phone made the netizens in the live broadcast room tremble all over. Although many still felt like a script, no one dared to make any further comments about being a god in the live broadcast room. For a while, Zhu Lan's live broadcast room became much more harmonious. Zhu Lan shook his head. Life and death are determined by fate, although it is determined by heaven, there are also people who determine it. Grandpa Zheng Qi's deadline is indeed approaching. If he could get in touch with him in the morning, he might be able to help pass this hurdle. Unfortunately, it's too late. Due to Zheng Qi's incident, many people flooded into Zhu Lan's live broadcast room. At this time, the number of online users in the live broadcast room had already exceeded 10,000. Zhu Lan was very satisfied and said that today is a busy time, so she couldn't have miscalculated. Just as more and more netizens flooded into the Zhu Lan live broadcast room, the discordant voices began to rise again. After all, feudal superstition is not mainstream at present, and everyone has doubts about it. Not to mention the recent incident involving Zheng Qi, many people believe it was just a script, thinking that Zheng Qi's guild was just trying to promote newcomers by allowing him to play such a role. So for a while, Zhu Lan's live broadcast room was quite noisy. The scene just now was so amazing that I got goosebumps. How could you say it was a script? I must admit, this lady may have some things. Cut, otherwise why can there be so many divine sticks? It's because of you foolish people. Yes, there are too many foolish people, so how can we expose this kind of God? The comments were very heated, and among them, there was one that claimed to be, I am your brother Wang, which was particularly prominent. Anchor, since you claim to be a Zhu Yi, a Chinese medicine practitioner, you have mastered the principles of heaven, earth, and human beings, and have cured various illnesses and difficult illnesses. So why not connect with me and take a look at me? This netizen who claimed to be Brother Wang actually connected to Zhu Lan after posting this post. Although there were still many curses in the barrage, Zhu Lan was actually quite calm. In Zhu Lan's view, Zhu Yu is not accepted by the public, and everything requires a process. Since this Wang brother is willing to connect, Zhu Lan did not refuse either. She came here for both the purpose of making money and promoting the cause. However, when a group of netizens saw Wang Gu connecting to Zhu Lan, many people were very excited and started scrolling bullet comments. Sleeping in bed, did Brother Wang actually come? Is it because he doesn't like this kind of God? The divine heroes have all arrived, so I'm looking forward to it. There shouldn't be a script now, right? After all, Brother Wang is a divine hero. You're right, it's not easy to bribe Brother Wang. If I get Brother Wang right, I'll be a fan of the anchor. Speaking of which, although Wang is not a big internet celebrity, he comes with his own traffic. Because he is the top scorer among several young ladies and has earned nearly 1 million divine treasures on Douyin. When Zhu Lan connected with Wang Gu and the video footage became clear, Wang Gu waved his hand and greeted the netizens, saying, "Hello everyone, I am Brother Wang." When such a big shot greets everyone, the comments are naturally full of praise. Wow, I finally saw Brother Wang as a real person. The painting behind Brother Wang is from the newly emerging painter Abai, right? He really deserves to be a big shot. Is this Brother Wang's office? It looks so luxurious. Brother Wang, come and take a look in my sister's live broadcast room. Her dance moves are also very beautiful. At this moment, Wang Gu sat on his own leather boss's chair, stroked his hair, satisfied the praise from netizens, and then scanned Zhu Lan with a scrutinizing gaze before speaking with a thud. This anchor, you're quite good. Looking. Why can't you just take it so hard to be a good doctor? Actually, Wang Gu and I don't have the same aversion towards you young people who wish for medical treatment and so on. On the contrary, Wang Gu and I are a person with a big mind, and I am quite willing to believe in these traditional cultures of our dragon kingdom. But you, TSK. Wang Gu looks around 40 years old. After glancing at Zhu Lan, he shook his head and said clearly dissatisfied. Little girl, Wang Gu actually knows your little girl's thoughts. They just want to ride the traffic and make some money. But to make money, there must also be a way to make money. You can't just rely on any traffic, right? For example, if you are young, it is actually impossible for you to understand this kind of divination, and physiognomy. These are cultural treasures of our dragon kingdom, which cannot be mastered by a little girl like you. So today, Brother Wang is here to advise you not to call yourself Zhu Yi. If you obediently dance in the live broadcast room, you may earn more money. Wang, let's put it aside today. As long as you obediently twist a paragraph, Wang will reward you with a carnival. The man who claimed to be Brother Wang had a proud expression on his face at this point, feeling that he was mature, kind-hearted, and imposing. Casually, he saved another lost little lamb. Young child, what is not good to learn? If you insist on learning something, I wish you success. It's better to twist your butt and coax your big brother more. Wang looked at the camera with a smile, one hand holding a string and the other slowly stroking his hair. He silently imagined that if Zhu Lan had changed from that cold Taoist robe to a leather jacket and pants, that must be very emotional, right? Thinking of this, Brother Wang unconsciously pursed his lips. Chapter 4, there are still 10 minutes left. You are listening at novel full.audio. This translator is experiencing an error, please try another translator. Chapter 5. Hurry up, catch people. You are listening at novel full.audio. Wang Hai shook his head desperately. It must be the god in front of me talking nonsense. He said, how could a young girl possibly understand the profound culture of our dragon kingdom? So, it must be all scams. Just to deceive oneself. At this moment, the netizens in the live broadcast room were mostly urging Wang Hai. Brother Wang, don't believe this woman, she's just lying to you. Brother Wang, why don't you trust this woman? Go and see where your son.in.law is, take the security guard to catch him first. If the police come later, hand him over to the police. If the police don't come later, we brothers will accompany you to curse and explode this woman's live broadcast room. Pooh, is it decent to lead someone to arrest my son.in.law? Can we still get along in the future? I think this woman has a bad heart just to prevent Wang's daughter from having a good marriage. Wait a moment. I'll ask weakly, how did this woman know about Wang's son.in.law? Don't you think it's a bit mysterious? You guys didn't see what happened to Chiga just now, you guys are really stupid. In the barrage, there were various opinions, and everyone had their own opinions and was in chaos. And Zhu Lan looked at the clock hanging on the wall of the clinic, and time passed little by little. Mr. Wang and his daughter actually don't have many opportunities. If they lose this opportunity, the father and daughter will have no hope again. Zhu Lan put the wooden string back on his wrist, shook his head, and sighed. Mr. Wang, there are still 6 minutes left. If the police don't catch him in your company this time and he escapes, you and your daughter will both die at his hands in 10 days. But he is still in your company at the moment. If you can catch him now, you and your daughter's calamity will be solved. I have already said everything I should, good luck to you. Zhu men cannot save those who do not believe. Everyone has their own destiny, let nature take its course. Just as Zhu Lan was about to turn off this connection, Wang Gu, who had been sitting in a chair without saying a word, suddenly shouted at Zhu Lan. What you mean is that Yan Bo is still in the company. If I bring security guards and tie people up now, my daughter will be saved. Right. Wang Hai's eyes turned red as he stared at Zhu Lan in the camera, his veins bulging slightly. His heart was filled with frustration, and he didn't know where his nameless anger was coming from. But for some reason, he didn't dare to get angry at the yellow-haired girl in front of him at all. His hands trembled slightly, but in the end he stood up and pointed to the camera, saying to Zhu Lan. Listen, I'm going to kidnap people now, not because I believe you. I'm doing it for my daughter. Wang Hai actually loves her daughter very much. His relationship with the old lady at home is not good. Apart from making money at home, he doesn't go home much all year round. He is not a good man. He eats and drinks outside, bubbles up girls, and flaunts himself, pretends to be a god, and becomes an internet celebrity online. But he really loves his daughter. He was not satisfied with the boyfriends his daughter had found before and always felt that those people were not a good match. Until 3 months ago, his daughter brought Yan Bo to his company and said that it was for the convenience of his investigation, so he let Yan Bo stay in his company for a period of time until he was satisfied, and the two of them could happily get married. In the past 3 months, he has truly been very, very satisfied with Yan Bo. He had already figured out where to hide and cry when his daughter got married this time. But Zhu Lan said that his daughter would die at the hands of that boy in 10 days, and Wang Hai's heart couldn't help but panic. That's his daughter, how could she have died so early? Impossible, absolutely impossible. At this moment, Wang Hai dare not gamble, not at all. If he mistakenly believed in the divine stick and tied up Yan Bo, which affected his daughter's marriage, he could kneel down and apologize to Yan Bo at that time. But he can't afford to gamble on his daughter's life. Wang Hai didn't turn off his phone either. Now that he had listened to Zhu Lan's words, he chose to arrest someone. So he decided to keep the live broadcast on, and if the police didn't show up, he could blame Zhu Lan and say he was old and foolish and had been deceived. Anyway, he didn't just have this one phone. He picked up another phone on the table and called his assistant, asking them to bring the security guard to the finance department within a minute and tie up Yan Bo. After notifying the assistant, Wang Hai picked up his phone, took a deep breath, and then left his own office, running towards the finance room downstairs. At this moment, the barrage in the live broadcast room completely exploded. What kind of plot direction is this? It's not a script, is it? Damn it, how could it be a script? This Wang brother is a great hero, and many young ladies' top spots don't even know the current anchor. Anyway, I think it's a lot of nonsense. Even if the police come to my door, I don't believe they will come. Maybe this Wang brother has already been bribed by this Zhu Lan. Right. I don't believe it either. I just think it's a script. Let's see how they end up later. At this time, due to the outrageous plot of the live broadcast room, it also attracted many tourists to come in and check in. In a moment, the live broadcast room where Zhu Lan, a newcomer, started broadcasting on the first day, saw over 10,000 views. Wang Hai's office is on the 23rd floor, while the finance department's office building is on the 16th floor. When Wang Hai ran to the 16th floor, there were only 3 minutes left, 10 minutes away from what Zhu Lan had said. Fortunately, Assistant Wang Hai, accompanied by 8 security guards, had already hurried up. With a flattering expression on his face, Assistant Wang Hai said to Wang Hai, "Mr. Wang, who are you arresting?" Wang Hai waved his hand, with a hint of determination on his face, and said to his assistant and security guard, "Grab Yan Bo, don't make a fuss. Just kick the door in and tie the person up. As long as you catch the person, your monthly salary will triple." The 8 security guards were overjoyed when they heard that their salaries had tripled. It's actually Wang Hai's assistant, a bit confused. Yan Bo. Isn't this the future son.in.law of the boss? The assistant was afraid that the boss might have given him the wrong instructions. When he wanted to confirm again, Wang Hai had already walked to the finance room and kicked open the door. In the finance room, there was only Yan Bo alone. Yan Bo's originally somewhat panicked face showed a very close smile when he saw it was Wang Hai. After hesitating for a moment, Wang Hai gritted his teeth and said to the security guard behind him, "Hurry up, catch someone." How could Chapter 6 be a bad person? You are listening at novel.Full.audio. In the finance department. Yan Bo trembled with his hands. He first downloaded the internal information of Wang Hai Company, and then transferred the money from the finance department to another card. Just as he was about to pick up his bag and run away, he saw that Wang Hai kicked open the door of the finance room. When he saw Wang Hai, Yan Bo didn't think he was exposed. After all, he asked him what he had done was perfect. Wang Hai, an old ground beetle, could not catch him. But when Wang Hai waved his hand to tie himself up, Yan Bo froze. The security guard worked very hard for the double salary, and in just a few seconds, they tied the people up in various ways. Yan Bo didn't even have the strength to resist and was already thrown into the corner by someone. At this moment, Yan Bo was panicked. He couldn't figure out where he had gone wrong. Could a fool like Wang Hai have discovered the clues? Yan Bo looked around with his eyes full of effort. He really didn't believe that Wang Hai could be so smart, until he saw that Wang Hai was still holding a phone in his hand, constantly aiming at himself to shoot. Yan Bo was even more puzzled in his heart. However, Yan Bo noticed that Wang Hai's expression seemed a bit guilty, so doesn't it mean that Wang Hai doesn't even know? In an instant, Yan Bo suppressed the panic in his heart and regained his energy. Although he was particularly embarrassed at this moment, he quickly smiled politely at Wang Hai and said politely, "Uncle Wang. What kind of situation is this? Is there any misunderstanding? However, Wang Hai dared not go to see Yan Bo at all. After all, he didn't even know why he believed what Zhu Lan said now. If he catches the wrong person. Wang Hai doesn't even know how to face Yan Bo and his daughter. Wang Hai remained silent, but Yan Bo hurriedly pursued the victory and said with a smile. Uncle Wang, is there something difficult happening at home? If you need my help in any way, you can speak up and not tie and kill me. Uncle Wang, please rest assured that Xianxian and I are about to get married. You are my future father.In.Law. If you have any difficulties, I will definitely not stand idly by. I will definitely go and ask my father to help you. Don't be fooled by Yan Bo being thrown into the corner to follow him, but Yan Bo is a very gentle and elegant-looking man, wearing gold-rimmed glasses, a big back, wearing a brand-name outfit, and a particularly approachable smile. So how could such a person be a bad person? So most of the netizens in the live broadcast room began to question. Sleeping slot, how do I think this future son.In.Law is a very good person? Isn't the anchor's current behavior tearing apart a beautiful marriage and disrupting family harmony? I'm about to cry to death. I've been tied up by people, but I'm still thinking about whether my father.In.Law will be in trouble. This son.In.Law is definitely a good one. As I said, the anchor is a godly person. Remember, believe in a godly person, your family will surely perish. Not to mention that the netizens in the live broadcast room were instantly turned against by Yan Bo's words. Even Wang Hai's face was hesitant and painful at this moment, feeling like he was really dizzy. Only Zhu Lan sat quietly in front of the camera, looking through the lens at the person named Yan Bo. Yan Bo's eye sockets are deeply sunken and his forehead is slightly sunken, as the saying goes, bones and flesh are abundant, and deep eyes and sunken forehead are more poisonous to people. Upon closer inspection, I wish you a green face with no flesh on your cheeks. You must have developed a malicious nature and are extremely petty. Wishing the door a beautiful view of all things in heaven and earth. At this moment, Yan Bo's head was shining with black light, and the disaster of imprisonment had already taken shape. Zhu Lan raised her eyes and looked at the time. In just 3 minutes, everything will settle down. But Zhu Lan's silence left Wang Hai at a loss. He looked at the stable and free woman in the mobile live broadcast room with sweat all over his head, and then at the humanoid future son.In.Law in front of him. I'm really panicked. He silently recited in his heart, steady, steady. As long as he waited a few more minutes, his mind would be clear. As long as Yan Bo is really okay, he will definitely treat him as a good son.In.Law and son in the future. Time flowed away minute by second, but the beads of sweat on Wang Hai's forehead kept flowing down, big and big. Seeing that Wang Hai only knew how to stare at himself without considering the appearance of letting others go, Yan Bo became anxious. He nervously glanced at the bag on the chair that he was about to run away with. The bag contained confidential information from Wang Hai Company. He promised the buyer that as long as he handed over this information, he could escape from the sea market smoothly and then smuggle it to another country by boat. Although Yan Bo was not yet aware that he was about to be arrested, his heart inexplicably panicked. Seeing that playing the warmth card was useless, he immediately lowered his face and said to Wang Hai. Uncle Wang, you should remember my identity, right? Aren't you afraid of offending the newly group by humiliating me like this? Uncle Wang, in consideration of being Qianqian's father, as long as you untie me and apologize now, I will not pursue it, otherwise. Yan Bo flipped his face quickly, which instantly left Wang Hai, who was already nervous, at a loss. His mind instantly cleared up. Yes, Yan Bo is the son of General Manager Yan of the newly group. How could it be a bad person? Moreover, if my company offends the newly group, wouldn't it be completely ruined? Wang Hai looked at Yan Bo for a while, then at his own phone. At this moment, the barrage in the live broadcast room had already begun to persuade Wang Hai. Brother Wang, I think you should untie someone else. Isn't this inexplicably offending people? Yeah, Brother Wang, I just searched online and found out that Yan Bo is really the child of the CEO of Newly Group. There is a photo of him with the CEO of Newly, Yan. So how could he possibly be arrested by the police? Brother Wang, untie someone and don't believe the rumors of the godly stick anymore. At this moment, the persuasion of netizens in the barrage, the threat of Yan Bo, and the behemoth of the Newly Group made Wang Hai's mind just buzzing non-stop. He was trembling all over. He glanced at Zhu Lan, who remained silent in the live broadcast room, and then at Yan Bo, who was tied up by him. He felt like he might have really been fooled. Wang Hai's face turned red in an instant, his eyes raging with anger, and he cursed at Zhu Lan in the video. Grass. Why did I lose my head and believe your nonsense, a yellow-haired girl? Zhu Lan, right. Wait for me, I will definitely find someone to kill you. Wang Hai's face was bulging with veins, and at this moment he was really hating Zhu Lan to death. Turning his head, Wang Hai looked at Yan Bo with an apologetic expression on his face and cautiously said. Xiao Bo, Uncle Wang is unconscious. Uncle Wang is wrong. Uncle Wang will come to untie you now. As Wang Hai walked towards Yan Bo step by step, the barrage in the live broadcast room was filled with joy. Did I just say that? Zhu Lan is just a genius. Wang did the right thing, nothing is more important than a family reunion. We will report this Zhu Lan together later, so that these gods will never have a hiding place. Just as Wang Hai was about to untie the rope and netizens were cursing, the familiar sound of police sirens echoed through the office building where Wang Hai was located. Chapter 7. 20 Rockets, Launch. You are listening at novel.Audio. When a group of police officers stormed into the finance department of Wang Hai Company and took Yan Bo away, claiming that he was a wanted criminal for multiple crimes such as murder and fraud, Wang Hai was foolish not to mention Wang Hai's foolishness. The netizens in the live broadcast room fell into silence instantly. Because everyone knows that Xing Qi can be a pre-arranged script, Wang Hai can be a bribed script, but those police officers who take people away can never be a script. At this moment, only a small group of netizens who have been supporting Zhu Lan are sending barrage comments. Wow, I finally saw today what it means to have a broken iron mouth. I wish you a wonderful doctor. I have been weak since I was young, can I go see you? Nowadays, netizens are really funny. Didn't everyone just angrily curse others as gods just now? Why are they all gone now? I don't understand the magic of wishing doctors. Please shut up in the future. Yeah, there's no such thing as a photo with Mr. Yan, so he must be Mr. Yan's son. How could it be a bad person's statement? It's really funny. Zhu Lan couldn't help but feel a little warm as she watched the small fans who supported her emerge from the barrage. The profession of Zhui has really been lacking support for a long time. At this moment, Zhu Lan suddenly realized that perhaps her reputation could really reverse the public's misunderstanding of Zhu Yi. Looking at the netizens shouting to support her, Zhu Lan smiled brightly, her eyes full of light. Her voice is very cold, as if it comes from ancient times, yet not stained with dust, making people feel close. My Zhu Yi Guan is located in Jiangcheng. If you feel unwell and want to seek help, you can come here to find me. The rules for practicing medicine in the live broadcast room are the same as those of Zhu Yi Guan, and the remuneration depends entirely on everyone's wishes, any amount is acceptable. As soon as Zhu Lan spoke, he saw that his live broadcast room had been rewarded with 20 rockets worth 888 yuan, and the reward was from Wang Hai, who had watched his son.in.law be captured by the police. When the police took the person away, Wang Hai was completely stunned and didn't realize why the situation had developed like this. When his assistant shouted beside him, saying that Yan Bo had almost successfully transferred company assets and stolen company secrets, Wang Hai felt a cold sweat all over his body. He was really scared to death. In this moment, Wang Hai finally came to his senses. His legs and knees were so weak that he couldn't help but want to give a big bow to the woman in the video. Thinking of what Zhu Lan had just said, Wang Hai was trembling all over as he lost his life in less than 10 days. I'm almost on my own. The company has been ruined by someone, and my daughter and I will also end up losing our lives in the end. Wang Hai bowed to Zhu Lan in the live broadcast room and burst into tears. Doctor, Wang Hai, have eyes but don't know about Taishan. If I offend you, please don't remember the villain. My company still has some follow-up matters to deal with today. I will definitely bring a generous gift to visit you on a special day. Thank you for your great kindness today. After Wang Hai went black, Zhu Lan's live broadcast room was completely destroyed. At this point, there is already an outrageous number of people who want to connect with Zhu Lan. However, Zhu Lan glanced at his back-end data. Wang Hai Gang just gave him a reward of 17,760 yuan in a row, and Douyin will share 50% of the amount. That is to say, Wang Hai's wave of rewards earned Zhu Lan 8,880 yuan. In an instant, Zhu Lan was very happy. Adding the balance of 357.3 in his own card, Zhu Lan suddenly became wealthy. With a slight movement of his finger, Zhu Lan knew that he had received the bounty from Wang Hai and was not at a loss. This Yen Bo was originally an important wanted criminal, carrying several national fraud cases and several lives. As a result, this guy Qiao Zhuang dressed up and pretended to be a wealthy second-generation, deceiving Wang Hai's daughter into liking him. He successfully entered Wang Hai's company and prepared to seize the opportunity to steal the company's assets and secrets. If Yen Bo really runs away today, not only Wang Hai and his daughter will die, but Yen Bo will also kill 2 more people on his last day of escape. This Yen Bo is really a traitor and villain. Suddenly, a golden light flashed on the wooden string in Zhu Lan's hand. Zhu Lan felt a pure spiritual energy attached to the wooden string, which made Zhu Lan's heart very happy. However, at this moment, the live broadcast room is still live, especially when the netizens are extremely enthusiastic. Zhu Lan can only ignore her expression and choose to connect to another link before downloading, to study the spiritual energy attached to the wooden string carefully. So Zhu Lan first whispered to the netizens. Ladies and gentlemen, I will connect again today and it will be broadcasted. Thank you all for your support today. Who knew that as soon as Zhu Lan said these words, the live broadcast room became even more popular, and there were several times more people wanting to connect than just now. After Zhu Lan finished speaking, she randomly selected a person to connect. Who would have thought that the randomly selected person was still $1 million internet celebrity, and for a moment, the barrage of comments shouted one after another. Sleeping trough, why is there even a bend? Bend, I love you so much. You haven't been live streaming for several days, I really want to watch you live. Curved, super beautiful. Wan is a beautiful looking and hot-skinned female internet celebrity. Every video of her shows her dancing skills, which has attracted a lot of fans and earned her the nickname of the most beautiful goddess in Douyin among netizens. Unfortunately, over the past month, the winding traffic has been continuously declining, and many big brothers who originally supported her have also been praising others one after another. And because her knee has hurt so much recently, she was a little paddling when she danced during the live broadcast, which was roast by others. Today, I came to the Douyin platform to stroll around, which means I'm just idle and bored. As a result, I saw the 2 matchups between Zhu Yi and Zhu Lan, which made one a bit interested. Speaking of which, as an internet celebrity with millions of followers, I have a clear understanding of live streaming routines. After careful consideration for a long time, she finally determined that the so-called Zhu Shini was probably a fraud. Whether it's Sheng Qi or Wang Hai behind him, they should all be scripts, in order to establish the reputation of being a good doctor. She is not just a simple netizen who thinks that a god like Wang Hai cannot be bribed. What if this Zhu Lan is willing to sell her body and sleepwear that Wang Hai? Secondly, what if Zhu Lan is a member of the guild under Wang Hai's command? In summary, Wan strongly distrusts this. Especially when I saw Zhu Lan in the video, who was in his 20s, he was cold and aloof, looking forward to flying and forgetting his customs. And her slightly smiling appearance, even though she is such a cold beauty, can make people feel that she is as friendly as a bodhisattva who saves the world. So two extremely contradictory temperaments formed a beloved image in her. Like a lotus, cold and unattainable, yet as proud as a plum blossom. It's really beautiful. It is this beauty that makes Chu Wan's heart more certain that the ultimate goal of Zhu Lan is definitely to become a big internet celebrity. There are also scenes of police officers going on duty. Can't we find some group performers to wear such costumes? She is very familiar with these tricks. I had planned to take turns and leave now. It's just. I feel a bit excited when I see more and more traffic in Zhu Lan live broadcast room. Her live broadcast room is getting less and less popular, and she really needs to talk about something to make herself more popular. Chapter 8. Little girl, want to seize my traffic. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After connecting to the video, Zhu Lan's bending appeared in the video. Curved and charming, today she is wearing a black low-cut outfit with bright red lips, and her full upper circumference has made many netizens scream. I was delighted to see this and covered my mouth. After making a few seductive gestures to the netizens in the live broadcast room, I gently greeted everyone. Hello everyone, there hasn't been a live broadcast for 2 days, I miss you so much. After greeting netizens, I bent and twisted my waist before saying hello to Zhu Lan in a delicate and charming manner. Hello, Sister Lan. Welcome to become a big internet celebrity as soon as possible. Wishing you all the best in gaining millions of fans. Curved and conscious, she saw through Zhu Lan's goal, so she felt that her blessing should be just right. In the Zhu Lan live broadcast room, there are many people who know Wan, so everyone is still very happy when they see Wan. That's right, Wan is truly a beautiful person with a kind heart. I also wish the Divine Doctor a speedy success in gaining millions of fans. The curves are so beautiful, I hope they will always be so beautiful. However, there are a few netizens who feel unhappy when they say this about the curve. Do I think this anchor named Wan is the only one who sarcastically criticizes Dr. Zhu? Dr. Zhu is a true doctor, not someone who wants to become an internet celebrity. Please respect Dr. Zhu's profession. When this netizen said this, in the barrage of the live broadcast room, many netizens immediately began to criticize the curved path. Yeah, I still need to respect the profession of Dr. Zhu. The two matchups between Dr. Zhu just now really made my scalp tingle. I think it's amazing. Yes, respect and wish the Divine Doctor. Although she smiled happily on her face, she kept a close eye on the barrage in the live broadcast room. When she saw comments on the barrage that made her respect Zhu Shini, her delicate expression felt a bit cracked. I can't believe how many people are willing to stand up for such feudal superstition. Are these netizens blind? Can't you understand that the woman across from you wants to be a big internet celebrity? This group of netizens won't really think that the woman across from them is some kind of master-level figure, right? Bent and somewhat angry. However, she quickly regained her smile and curled her lips with a coquettish smile, saying, "Sorry, I was a bit presumptuous when I spoke earlier. I hope Dr. Zhu doesn't mind." The curve is very clear. What is her purpose for coming here today? Since Zhu Lan has so many scripts to play, it also makes everyone believe that she is a divine doctor and master. So as a tens of millions internet celebrity, appearing in this feudalistic live broadcast room can definitely bring a lot of topics to oneself. However, if I choose to show my face, I must find something to seek help from Zhu Lan. As I watched more and more people in Zhu Lan's live broadcast room, although I was happy in my heart, there was a hint of grievance on my face, and I said sadly, I just watched 2 live broadcasts of Dr. Zhu, and I am very impressed in my heart. Because I have been dancing in the live broadcast room all year round, I have suffered some knee injuries, especially in the past 2 days when my knee has been extremely uncomfortable. I looked at the homepage of Dr. Zhu and said it can treat various difficult and complicated diseases, so I hope this Dr. Zhu can treat my knee, so that I can quickly go back and live stream and dance for fans who like me. This wave of twists and turns, hard work, injured and still thinking about her fans, can be said to have earned the favor of everyone in the live broadcast room for her. For a moment, everyone left messages saying, "Bending is great, it moves me deeply, but when I feel uncomfortable, I immediately think of us. When bending starts broadcasting, I will reward 2 rockets at once. I received my salary today, and I plan to keep 1,000 yuan as a living allowance. The rest will be given as a reward to Wan. I hope Wan can receive proper treatment, otherwise we will feel heartbroken." Looking at the comments in the barrage, I feel very happy. I really did a great job riding this wave of traffic. Just at this moment, Zhu Lan in the video glanced at the delicate and soft bend on the other side, then sighed and said, "Bend, hello. Your illness cannot be cured, nor can it be cured." After connecting the line, Zhu Lan saw clearly the appearance of the girl across from her and felt a tightness in her heart. The bend on the opposite side is beautiful, but the veins on the forehead are bulging and the complexion is floating, indicating that one's life is not long away. Zhu Lan touched the wooden string on his hand, and in his eyes, he had already calculated his fate. Finally, he spoke softly and candidly, saying, "Your mountain roots have been broken, and you should have some illnesses on your hands and feet. If you had met me 2 years ago, perhaps you could have been saved. But this disease has penetrated deep into the bone marrow, affecting your heart and pulse for a long time, and your life is already in danger." Zhu Lan has been following Grandma Zhu for over 20 years, and her speech has always been like this. As a doctor, speaking to patients should be based on their illness and there is no need to conceal it. But as soon as Zhu Lan said these words, her live broadcast room was instantly bombarded by curved fans. "Goddess, do you want to hear what you're saying? You're a fraud who pretends to be a god, where did you dare to curse our family like this? Bend, you're too gentle. I'll command all the fans to bend and smash this godly live broadcast room together." The 4 words, life-threatening, really drove the twisted fans crazy. Although many netizens in the live broadcast room had just finished watching the Zhengqi and Wang Hai events, the people who came in behind the live broadcast room ran in because they heard that they were bending in a fortune-telling live broadcast room. So currently, compared to the number of people in the live broadcast room, the majority of fans are curved. Zhu Lan's life is in danger, in everyone's eyes, this is a blatant curse. And the cursed bend, at this moment, was also filled with anger and instantly exploded. Her current traffic is getting worse and worse, and she is also ridiculed by other new internet celebrities who say that her youth is not here and she is about to fade away, but she is still a big internet celebrity with millions of fans. How dare Zhu Lan, who has not yet caught fire, curse herself like this? In a moment of bending, I understood that the woman across from me was probably trying to attract traffic, so I dared to curse myself with such words. Let me ask you a question. The online celebrity of tens of millions of fans was condemned in the Master's live broadcast room. Life is not long. Such a topic is bound to ignite the internet, and maybe even hit the hot search. How much traffic and popularity will this bring to the woman across from you? The gaze that curved towards the woman in front of him became increasingly cold. Zhu Lan, is it true that you dare to use me as a stepping stone? But, little girl, your methods are still too delicate. As the number of people in Zhu Lan's live broadcast room increased, her eyes suddenly lit up. Little girl, you want to take advantage of my traffic, right? Let's take a look at how I stepped on you and ignited it again. I believe that if she could expose Zhu Lan, the god, here today, she would definitely be able to make a small fuss. At this moment, the smile on the curved corners of the mouth grew even greater. Chapter 9. At the age of 18. You are listening at novel full.audio. Ben first glanced at what netizens were saying in the barrage, then slowly tidied up his collar before lifting his seductive eyes and looking at Zhu Lan, saying, "Wishing you a godly doctor, I feel like you're a godly stick. I guess why do you say I can't cure it and my life is not long? Actually, you don't even know how to save people because you are a complete scammer. Are you right, what I said?" The provocative words with full provocation instantly ignited the flames of war in the live broadcast room, and the fans in the live broadcast room became boiling with excitement. "Sleeping in bed, what you say makes sense. Isn't this just like those scammers outside who claim to be in a state of bloodshed and then ask you to pay for a scam? Thinking carefully, I'm extremely scared." Zhu Lan must have seen that Wan is a big internet celebrity, so he also wanted to scare him and make him pay for it. "You're still a divine doctor. I think he's just a top-notch prodigy." At this moment, in the live broadcast room, the arrow and crossbow were pulled out. Bending and holding his head high, he felt like he had seen through everything and was very proud. Just that's not enough. She needs to escalate today's situation in order to gain more attention. Zhu Lan, who cannot be defeated by anti-counterfeiting warriors like Xingqi, and Zhu Lan recognized by gods like Wang Hai, if he were exposed by himself, so if she bends, she will definitely turn red completely, it will be a huge fire. So the cold light in her curved eyes grew heavier and heavier. She looked coldly at Zhu Lan and smiled. "Wishing you a great doctor, publicly admit that you are a fraud. If you don't admit it, I will hire my legal team to sue you. I can't tolerate any scammers because I don't want anyone else to be deceived." At this moment, bending like a righteous warrior, emitting a pure white light, captivating a group of fans. But when he was still trying to say something, Zhu Lan spoke again. In the camera, Zhu Lan still sat calmly on the wooden chair, her expression without any anger after being provoked, just a faint smile. "Since the age of 18, your knees have been prone to pain, but you can still tolerate it. As you get older, the pain in your knees has made you sleepless all night. Until recently, sometimes it hurts so much that you can hardly walk. I believe you have already taken many films and undergone many tests. You have seen many doctors, but nothing has been found. Because of this illness. It is called disrespectful to heroes and plagued by black energy. It can only be said that it was the fruit planted by you when you were 18 years old." When Zhu Lan said this, his eyes emitted a deep black hue. And her whole body was covered in a faint golden light. She casually took it away, covered it up, and saw the winding consequences on her bent head. The branches and leaves of the fruit are lush, and the fruit is growing bigger and bigger, like a decaying abscess about to burst. At the beginning, Zhu Lan sympathized with such a young girl in her prime, who was about to die a tragic death. But when the golden light touched the consequences, Zhu Lan's heart was already calm. Although life and death are predetermined by fate, they are determined by oneself. When all evil is done, one's fate will change. As Zhu Lan's words fell, netizens in the live broadcast room were still cursing him as a fraud, but his curved face turned pale instantly. Her body couldn't even stand still, and her teeth began to tremble. She looked at the woman across from her in great panic. The 4 words, 18 years old and bad consequences, completely disrupted all the twisted thoughts. She swallowed her saliva and didn't even dare to touch the memories of those years. Yes, since the age of 18, the knee seems to have contracted some strange disease and began to experience inexplicable and frequent pain. Even the old fans of Benwan know that Benwan has this disease. Just because of what exactly caused this disease, those fans don't know. And those who know only have twists and turns. I went to see many doctors who said her knees were fine. Just when Zhu Lan talked about being 18 years old, his curved heart began to beat harder and harder. She doesn't believe it, she definitely doesn't. She doesn't believe that her knee pain over the years is really due to what happened when she was 18 years old. Bend and shake your head desperately, shake your head vigorously. False, it must be false. This woman cannot be any master at all. She just talks nonsense and deceives herself. Bending over his ears, he looked up at Zhu Lan, his eyes already showing a bit of madness, and then he burst out laughing with a slightly backward posture. Her voice was tinged with a hint of tearing and madness. She pointed to Zhu Lan in the camera and gritted her teeth, saying, "You're talking nonsense. My medical report is particularly healthy. Besides, what disrespect to Yingling, what black energy entangles oneself, you are a scammer, you are a scammer." The curved eyes were filled with resentment towards Zhu Lan, and the fiery anger had already burned her whole body. The more hateful, the more insane the curve becomes. She waved her hand, inciting everyone to compensate her and cursing Zhu Lan together. She wanted Zhu Lan, this woman, to enjoy cyberbullying well. Netizens, thanks to everyone's support, I can't let this kind of scammer deceive people so blatantly. I will do everything I can to make this prodigy pay the price. However, Zhu Lan sighed. She didn't expect that at this moment, Chu Wan would still not mention anything about the past. It seems like as long as we don't mention it, those things will pass. Grandma once said, the 1,000-year record of the fruits of human kindness. But Grandma has also said that raising rice raises kindness, and fighting rice raises enmity. There are many types of people at this time, and the white-eyed wolf is one of them. For this kind of person, Zhu Lan hates it to the extreme. She squinted her eyes and said in a tone that was not kind. "Bend, do you really forget? When you were 18 years old, while on a tour in Huaicheng, you encountered a landslide, and when you were about to die, who saved you? You wouldn't have lived to be 18 years old. If it weren't for that hero blocking this calamity for you, how could you come to be now? You have lived for an extra 10 years in vain, but during these 10 years, you have never paid homage to him, never felt grateful for him. You even said, it's his job to save you. What's the matter with you if he dies? Bend, he died at just 18 years old. His parents are still alive, and his tombstone still exists. Can you go and see it once?" At the moment when the golden light touched the evil fruit on the curved head, all the ugly looks on the curved head made Zhu Lan vividly remember and shiver in his heart. Zhu Lan, who has never been very angry, finally got angry in the live broadcast room. Zhu Lan's voice was deafening, and the entire live broadcast room fell silent in an instant. Chapter 10. What's wrong with this? You are listening at novelfull.audio. There was a hint of fear in the curved eyes across from the video, but in an instant, she shook her head desperately. That year, while traveling, she encountered a landslide and was destined to die in that disaster. But death is not a curve. The one who died was the man wearing a green military uniform. The one who died was the 18-year-old boy with a smile on his face. Before he died, he was still shouting at the bend, "Child, don't feel uncomfortable. You must continue to live well in the future." Disrespectful to heroes, plagued by black energy. The solution to the black aura entangled in the body is very simple. If one bends and is willing to bow down to pay homage to the tombstone, kneel down and knock on such a head, the black aura will also dissipate. But there were no twists and turns. She had never been to the 10 years she had stolen. I haven't visited the tombstone or the parents of that boy. But bending only arrogantly tells oneself that saving oneself is the man's job. If he hadn't saved himself, could that man have been called a hero? This is all thanks to myself. Your knee hurts because it keeps reminding you. Zhu Lan's eyes turned slightly red as she lit a yellow talisman on the table to soothe the boy's spirit. In this moment, the live broadcast room, which had been silent for a long time, suddenly became lively again. It's really fake, isn't the divine doctor deceiving people? Crouching slot, so, isn't bending around like a white-eyed wolf. Is it really fake? Did I give such a damn reward to a white-eyed wolf? Can you give us an explanation? As long as you are willing to explain, we still believe you. The barrage in the live broadcast room became increasingly lively, and it wasn't until someone actually uncovered news about the Huiqing landslide 10 years ago that Chu Wan became completely panicked. Looking into the barrage, Wan knew that she was finished when more and more people began questioning her. Even her older brother who had always supported her was cursing her. Done. Everything she has worked hard to manage is over. It's all that person's fault. He's dead, why bother to ruin his career? 10 years ago, everyone claimed that they had caused someone else's life. 10 years later, will everyone blame themselves again for that person's death? I hate it too much. I hate bending too much. She couldn't figure out why she could harm herself like this when that person was already dead. At this moment, Benben went completely crazy, her eyes fixed on Zhu Lan across from her, her face ferocious, and her voice viciously cursed. He's dead, what does it have to do with me? Did I ask him to come and save me? He was willing to come and save me himself. Why should I be grateful to him? Why should I pay homage to him? Why should I go see his parents? Why? Is he just doing his job? The convoluted comments completely angered the netizens in the live broadcast room. Fans who used to love curves can't figure out why their beloved goddess is such a person. So how deep love used to be, now everyone is cursing so harshly. However, Zhu Lan is very serious in looking towards the bend. Zhu men can observe the appearance of people and even cut off life and death. At first glance, the black aura had not yet fully descended on the bent body, and the dying black aura of the person was only climbing below the bent neck. With just a few curved words, the black aura quickly climbed onto her head like a long leg. That black aura has completely climbed onto the curved head. As the saying goes, if you do many unjust deeds, you will die on your own. Before a person is about to die, you must do good deeds. Good deeds can accumulate virtue, and virtue can prolong life. At this moment, the black aura had completely enveloped the bent body. Zhu Lan shook his head and his fate was determined. Black air covers the body, life and death are difficult to save, death has become a reality. Zhu Lan's eyes were very black. She quietly watched the farce in the live broadcast room and sighed softly. Your time is up. After Zhu Lan's words fell, the live broadcast room fell silent again, with only a few scattered comments weakly asking. What do you mean? Do you mean you're about to die in a bend? Although the curves are despicable, Zhu Lan's words are too exaggerated. How could a good person die just by saying die? You're right, bending is not a good person. This Zhu Lan is probably also a godly figure who participates in the fun. But when I suddenly heard Zhu Lan's words, which were still going crazy, I felt a little uneasy. She quietly looked at Zhu Lan, her deep black eyes, and in that moment, she felt her heart racing wildly. I don't know what's going on, she just felt that Zhu Lan's eyes seemed to contain a powerful force when she looked at her. Those eyes were just staring at you, as if they could see through all of your life. How could I have died? Impossible. Absolutely impossible. She remembers that she only went to the hospital for a full body examination last month, and the examination report clearly showed that she was extremely healthy. As for her knee pain, it's just a small matter. As long as she takes a break, she can get better immediately. Who is she bending? She is an internet celebrity with millions of fans. She is the top female anchor of Douyin. Even if no netizens love her anymore, she can still live a carefree life with the money she has earned over the years. Thinking this way, she didn't care about the curses from netizens anymore, so she decided to let herself go. However, when bending, I found that my back was inexplicably cold, and my heart was beating faster and faster. Dong! 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 That heart seemed to be jumping wildly at a speed of 200 beats per minute. If it weren't for bending and hastily covering my chest, my heart seemed to be about to jump out of my body. Bend and shake your head desperately, your luck is still ahead. Even though these netizens say they dislike themselves now, so what? Anyway, they have also given themselves a lot of money as a reward. In the future, I will not become an internet celebrity and just enjoy life to the fullest. Thinking in a curved way, she felt a lot happier than before. A cold smile curved around her lips, and she looked at the camera and snorted coldly. Hee hee, you licking dogs are scolding me like this now. Didn't they used to chase after my butt every day and give me a reward? Don't worry, I will live well and use the money you give me as a reward to live a good life. Before the rest of the conversation could be finished, I felt my throat involuntarily hoarse as I bent around. Then, a sudden surge of blood surged up my nostrils, and 2 streams of nosebleeds surged out with a snap sound. The nosebleeds were like water in a faucet, flowing incessantly. In just an instant, her curved face turned extremely pale. Her eyes looked at the camera in the live broadcast room in terror, and the incessant nosebleeds were almost staining her shirt red. At this moment, all the netizens in the live broadcast room were completely shocked. What's wrong with this?